Hello my wonderful friends, Magus with you again today, and here we are, Sacred Mountain at a castle teaching magic, and today I'm going to teach you why I love magic. Got some great stories for you. Love you guys. Today's message is on why I love magic so much, and I've got a couple fun stories for you. As I was writing out this message today, I was going to try to explain the best I can the unified field theory and how everything's connected, and we can work within that grid with vibration and emotions. And an example I wanted to use was whenever I think of my daughter, she's thousands of miles away, but I can contact her instantly when I think of how much I love her and how much I miss her, and she'll call. And as I was writing this message out, the phone rang and it was her, and I said, have I got a story for you? God is amazing. He always wants to get us our good. And another example of our good always coming to us was my guitar tuner. The other day, I wanted to learn a new song, and I had to tune down my guitar a step, and I needed my tuner. I went to the spot where I always keep my tuner and pick, and it was missing. So I did a little trick that I had learned, and I'll give you an example of it. One time my son was working around the property and he was looking for a tool. He went to the tool shed, he went to where it might have got left, and then he came and asked me, and I hadn't seen it. So I did that thing where I quiet all the thoughts, clear my mind, and then I just let my intuition find it, because everything's connected. And so I saw that tool in the trunk of my dad's car, in the carport, and I said, go check in the trunk of his car. And both of us were thinking, it's got no business being that tool in the trunk. It doesn't make sense, but that's where I was seeing it. So we went and checked. And sure enough, that's where it was. And that's working in that grid. By realizing everything's connected, we can contact people or come into contact with things just by quieting the mind and using our intuition. So to find my guitar tuner, I tried doing that. So I closed my eyes and searching for the guitar tuner, and then I saw myself as I knocked it back behind something, and I remember thinking to myself, if I don't grab that now, I'm going to forget where it is, and then I'm going to wish I had grabbed it. But I was too lazy and I left it. So I remembered that. So I looked back behind where I keep it. I took some books out of the bookshelf, had a flashlight, looking behind, looking under, looked everywhere, and pretty soon I'm tearing apart the whole room because I want to play this song, and I know it fell back behind something, and I didn't find it. Then this morning, the desire was even stronger. I just could even hear the song playing in my mind, and that my desire became so strong. I go, I've got to learn how to play this song. I need my tuner. And I look over to the spot where I keep my tuner and pick, and it was there. That, my friend, is magic. That is living in magic, in your good. It's just an expectancy that my good is always coming to me. I live in my good. Good things are always happening to me. When you start to have that expectancy, you start to live in that. When you realize the thoughts that you hold in your mind all day long, your truest beliefs is what you're in residence for, what's coming to you, you become more careful about what you're holding in your heart and mind. And this is the secret to magic right here. It's realizing that good is possible, that anything is possible, and start to expect the best. Start to have mantras in your mind to start with, that my good is always coming to me. I expect my good. I expect to live in my good. Good things are always happening for me. You start to have that mentality, and it will start to happen in your life. Now, a lot of people, as we were talking about yesterday, they get a little uncomfortable when I use the word magic. They wish I would use words that are a little more accepted, like miracle. But to me, and you could use either, that's fine. But in my thinking, well, one, we're the order of the Magi. The word magic comes from the Magi. And secondly, when I think of miracle, I think of you're at the end of your rope. It's like a bad situation, and a miracle needs to show up to survive. That's what I think of when someone says, I need a miracle. I just like living in magic. I live in my good. I expect to be protected, provided for. Me and my children will live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. I expect good things to come to me. I expect my life to be good. And that's living in magic. It doesn't matter the words. I think it was Alan Watts that said, you can use the word water, but it doesn't get you wet. And it's the same thing with different spiritual words. Think of the word God. Some people use Allah or Jehovah for their idea of the highest principle. And they'll even fight over it. They'll go to war over that name. They'll get into anger and fear and different attributes that have nothing to do with that name. And they're actually not even in God. They're not even experiencing God. They have the word, but they're not living in God. They're not getting wet, if you know what I mean. So we want to experience our good. The Magi teaching is God and good are the same thing. So we want to come into our good, into our God. How do we do that? How do we come into alignment with our good? How do we start to create magic in our world? Your first step is a change of mind. It's to start letting go of the wrong ideas and teachings that you had, that you have to get sick, that you have to get disease, that you have to get old and die, that you have to have a miserable struggle in this life. Start to just have some higher ideas. And that's why I like sharing these stories, to start to raise your consciousness, to think these things are possible. You know, if Magus can live in these things, I could live in these things. They are doable, they are possible. And just knowing that opens up a whole new world. You start to have a higher belief, a higher consciousness, and with a higher consciousness, you create a higher dimension of life. All right, my friends, I love you guys. God bless you. I want to thank you so much yesterday, guys. You guys stepped up and shared the message yesterday, and so many great comments back. And I want this channel, the Magus YouTube channel, to be a place where people come to learn about the all-good God, the Christ mind, that we're one with our good, and a place of magic. When people think of these things, I want them to think of the Magus channel. So please, please, please keep sharing, getting more subscribers and followers, and let's spread this message of love and truth to the world. I love you guys. See you next time.